So, welcome to all of you. My name is Laura Garrison-Brook, and I'm so glad you're here. We have just begun a series on Stasana, which is the crown chakra. We've been going through the chakras for a while now, and this is class 2 of our crown chakra, which is 1,000-petaled lotus, which symbolizes infinity. This is our connection to that which is greater than ourselves. And you can think of that as you'd like, as it speaks to you, the divine or the quantum realm or the cosmos, the universe, whatever speaks to you. And yesterday we really dug into Cit Ananda. Sat means truth, Chit is consciousness, and Ananda is bliss. So we're going to talk more about truth today. So I invite you to come to your mat. I've got my blocks on my mat, but I think we'll start standing. Okay. And Anand said something that really resonated with me. He says a lot of stuff that really resonates with me. Anand being the teacher whom I've been studying with for the past few months in an online class called The Path to Radical Self-Mastery. And he said that truth does not need to be validated. And that's what we're going to talk about the most today. So feel your feet grounding down into the earth, palms shine forward. Just landing here in your Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel yourself grounding down as you stack chakra upon chakra, crown shines up towards the sky. Breathing here. And then let's inhale those arms out and up, reaching up. Hands down the midline. And as part of this flow, we're going to do 3 mudra, okay? Sat, when it's here at the low belly. Chit, and we're going to come into Padma mudra at the heart. And then we're going to reach our arms up, Ananda, okay? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Again, Sat is like Hakini mudra, down here. Chit, Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, truth. Chit, consciousness. Ananda, bliss. So it's like we're connecting our consciousness to bliss. By connecting to our truth, bringing truth into our consciousness, we find our bliss. Sat, hands in Hakini. Chit, hands in Padma. Ananda. And reach those arms out. And keep flowing with your own pace. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Eyes can be closed if that's comfortable for you. Sat, Chit, Ananda. And I invite you to say this out loud. Okay? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Let's do 3 more rounds. Dropping here into this moment, into this practice. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Last one. Fingertips together. Sat, Chit. Flower your lotus open at the heart. Ananda. And then bring your hands together to the heart space. Eyes can be closed, rolled up and in. Sambhali Mudra. Feel yourself dropping down and asking yourself the question, what is my truth? What is my truth? Breathing here. And then inhale those arms out and up. Reach up, lift up. And side bend. So in his wisdom lecture, Anand said, our truth does not need to be validated. And, that really resonated with me. And I had, a variety of things that occurred to me, side bending in the other direction. And one of the things that came to mind, inhale, stretch it up, come up onto the balls of the feet, is something that I shared with y'all a week or two ago. Dr. Bruce Perry wrote about it in the book, the brand new book that's recently come out called What Happened to You? Settle the hips, the heels down, and fold forward. First forward fold, so soften those knees as much as you need to. Arms hang heavy. Head hangs heavy. And just sway it back and forth. So, Dr. Bruce Perry mentions in the book, which is co-authored by Oprah Winfrey, really talks about trauma. And he shares that we often think about fight or flight, right? The two F's. And he said, actually, head hangs heavy. Inhale, arch up halfway, flat back. There aren't two F's. There are actually four. And I was like, I did not know that there was a fourth one. I've heard of freeze. Exhale down. You might have as well. But there's a fourth F. Again, inhale, arch up halfway, flat back. And he says we go through these pretty sequentially, as humans. Obviously, we're all individuals. Exhale it down. Hands frame the foot. Step the right foot back. Nice long line. You get her. There we go. Yes. It is a kitten. It's 4 weeks old. Jackie, please adopt this kitty. He's so cute. Hands frame the foot. Shoulders down the back. He's still in a bottle. Pouring energy down that right leg, out the heel. So the first F that we naturally go to as human beings is flock. I pulled a blank for a second. Flock. So what this means, allow those hips to release down, relax down, shoulders down the back. Beautiful long spine. Set those hips back. So what that means is when we experience something as human beings, our natural tendency is we look at other people like, what do you think of this? Right? And in the book, it's speaking of trauma, right? Like, is this okay? This is happening to me. Is this normal? Is this natural? Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? So first we flock. The next thing we do is we freeze. We then flee, and the last thing we typically do is fight. Okay, that's the normal kind of progression. And talking about our truth, set those hips back, toes rise up, folding over that leg. The reason that I bring this up is I want to highlight that it's so incredibly normal. Flock, it's the very first thing we do as human beings. So it's very normal to seek out validation. Exhale, bring those hands forward. Hands frame the foot. Pouring energy down that leg. Curl the back toes under. Right hand comes down onto the mat, gently twisting it open. Here in your high runner's lunge. Another breath. And then the hand can come up if you like. So when it comes down to our truth, Anand says, our truth does not need to be validated. Walk it back. And I'll tell you that I've done, a lot of work. For those of you who know me, I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization called Discovering My Purpose. Tailbone rises up and the head hangs heavy. So I've done a lot of work with helping people make life change, right? And I've found that not only is validating your truth not necessary, sometimes it's ill-advised. Another breath. Step that right foot forward. Hands frame the foot. Okay. Pouring energy down that left leg. Out the heel. And drop the knee low, runner's lunge. So I'll tell you that when I decided to leave my nonprofit job, I worked for a nonprofit organization for a long time, like 17 years. Set the hips back, toes stay down. And I discovered that my truth was it was time for me to move on. I wanted to create, discovering my purpose, and I was just ready for my new phase of life. Inhale it forward. And I was really anxious about it. You know, if y'all, actually I don't include it in the course that's here on Insight Timer, but I talk about it in another course that I teach. Letting those hips be heavy. Exhale it back. You know, in particular, I was really nervous about losing health insurance because I had amazing benefits at this nonprofit. I had like 7 weeks of vacation, great health insurance, breathing here into that heavy heel. Inhale it forward. So I made the decision, this is what I'm doing. And I called up my mom to say, you know, I'm leaving my job. I'm, you know, going to create my own nonprofit. Exhale it back, fold over that leg, toes pull back. Breathe into the back of that leg. Another breath. And my mother was like, that's really not a good idea. Put the left hand down onto the mat, right hand onto the knee, and twist open to the right. And she, you know, was like, you know, that's really risky. And I, after getting off the call with her, my anxiety had gone up. I was feeling worse about, you know, the situation. And I was already pretty anxious because it was a big leap. Hands frame the foot. Curl the toes under. And, you know, what I've found, ground the hands, through my studies and through my experience with teaching people about discovering their purpose, which might mean, like me, they choose to leave their job or, you know, strike out in a different direction. Plug the hands in. Tailbone lifts up. Head hangs heavy. The thing that's important to realize is very often, the people who are closest to you have a conflict of interest when it comes down to you making a change in your life. Okay? Glide forward. So if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, plugging the hands into the mat, it looks like a triangle, right? Or a pyramid. And at the base of the triangle is our needs for stability, security. So it's effectively food on the table, a roof over our heads. Breathing here. Drop the knees down and come on back into your Anahatasana. So I'm talking to my mother, right? And my mother's focus is on, is Laura going to be safe? Is she going to, you know, be fed? Come on up into your down dog. That's how she's wired, right? It's not about her lack of faith in me. It's not about any of those things which you can internalize, like she doesn't believe in me or whatever. No. It's about the fact that, especially as parents, we want to make sure that our children are safe. And we want to make sure that they are fed, right? Because that's the way we're wired as human beings. We want our children to survive. That's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That stuff's first. The happiness is way up the scale. breathe in here. In your down dog. Another breath. And then drop that right knee down. Kickstand the right foot out to the side. Left, long edge of the foot on the mat. Left foot. Right hand comes underneath the face and just spiral that open. Coming into, this is a knee down, side plank. Stasana. So, when you're trying to figure out your truth, and if you go out to talk to people, even, people who are closest to you, often people who are closest to you, making big circles with this top arm, again, they can have a conflict of interest, right? Like they could be thinking, hey, you're going to be upsetting the apple cart here. I kind of like the way things are, and this could result in a change, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay? Tailbone lifts up and head hangs heavy. And this is just normal. It's not that they're being selfish. It's not that they don't love you. This is just normal human reactions. Okay? Roll that on the neck. So let's use another example. Drop that knee down. Left hand comes under the face. Kickstand the foot out to the side. Let's say that you and I are roommates, and I've been living with you for years, making big circles with that arm. And you come to me and you say, Laura, you know me really well. We've been living together for years. Tell me, what do you think my truth is? Okay? If I just rely upon what I've witnessed from you, I might say, well, gee, Rumi, I've noticed that you're really organized. Go ahead and really lift up into that right side waist, palm just waterfalls over. And then roll it down. You're really organized. Seems like you're really good at that. Maybe you should be like a project manager, or you can go into people's houses and help them organize their houses or whatever, right? Because this is what I've witnessed about you. And you could be like, oh, she's right, I am really good at that, but I don't really like doing it very much. It's kind of the way I was raised, and it's kind of the way that I maintain a sense of control over my life. But it doesn't light me up. It doesn't light me up. Tailbone rises up and head hangs heavy. So when you ask others to help you find your truth, they're going to be looking at you from the outside. The outside. Come forward into your plank pose. And the reality is that you have to find the truth inside. So this is a solitary journey. Come on down. Come on back into your Anahatasana. Palms press. Curl the toes. Lift the hips, down dog. And you might remember I've mentioned a few times Robert Holden. Tailbone reaches up, head hangs heavy. Flip that right leg back and up. Stretch it up, reach it up. He's a positive psychologist, and he's the one who uses that phrase, let joy be your Geiger counter. Lift it up. Step it forward. Remember, in our Sanskrit phrase is what? Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Lifting up into your Vira one. Sat, truth, Chit, consciousness, Ananda, bliss. So you're the only one who can figure out what your truth is. Breathing. Another breath. Step off onto that right foot and come into your Vrikshasana, your tree pose. Remember, this foot can be anywhere on the leg except the side of the knee. Hands at the heart space. And let's do again. Sat. Okay, the fingertips touch. Fingertips point down. Chit, coming into your Padma Mudra at the heart. And then lift those arms up, Ananda. Okay, one more time here in tree. Remember, the ball of the foot can totally come down onto the earth. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Okay? And then hug the knee into the chest. And then float it back, coming into your Virabhadrasana 3. Good focused gaze. And hands frame the foot, lift the leg up. Step that foot back. And inhale, lift. Opening up your heart and asking yourself, what is my truth? What is my truth? Remembering that joy can be your Geiger counter. When do I feel those flashes of joy? When does it feel like life is flowing? Another breath. And then open it up. Vira 2. Shoulders down the back. Stretching fingertip to fingertip. Breathing. Another breath. Straighten that leg and glide into your Trikonasana. Sat, Chit, Ananda. How do I follow my bliss? And as I asked yesterday, a beautiful self-inquiry question coming back into your Vira 2 is, when do I feel most blissful? When do I experience most joy? Another breath. And then hands either side of the foot, come on down. Walk your dog out. Head hangs heavy, tailbone rises up. Resting here in your down dog or coming down into child's pose. Or if you'd like, coming into plank. Breathing here through a vinyasa with me. Another breath. And come on down, Ashtanga Pranam or Chaturanga. But up in the air if you're in Ashtanga with me. And then ground the hips. Hands under shoulders. And inhale, left. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Come on down. What is my truth? What is my bliss? Where is my joy? Come on down. And inhale, come on up. Breathing here. Another breath. And come on to hands and knees. Press the hands in. Hands over, hips over heels. Press those hands down. Breathe into the underarms. Curl the toes. Lift the hips. Down dog. Let's do that same flow on the other side. Rolling the head on the neck. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Left leg reaches up, lifts up, stretches up, and step it forward, going into your Vira 1. Take your time, set your feet, and lift up. Arms reach up. Opening the heart. And then stepping off into your Vrikshasana on this side. So setting the foot anywhere on the leg except the side of the knee. Knee goes out to the side. Good focused gaze. Bringing the hands to the heart space, shoulders down the back. And you can either stay here in your tree or you can take your flow where it's Sat. Hands open up into lotus, Chit, Ananda. And if you're like me, The left side might be a little bit more challenging to balance in, so you might just do it really slow and easy. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Let's do one more. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Woo! Bring that right knee into the chest. And then coming into, my left leg is getting tired. My left leg isn't nearly as strong as my right. Coming into your Vira 3. And then step it back. Virabhadrasana 1. Open it up. And then lengthen your stance, coming into Vira 2. Stretching fingertip to fingertip. Breathing here. Another breath. Straighten that leg and glide forward. Sat, Chit, Ananda. My truth will help me discover my bliss. Breathing. Another breath. And float on up. Vira 2. Stretching fingertip to fingertip. Feeling the strength in the legs. Another breath. And hands either side of the foot. Come on down. Walk your dog out. Head hangs heavy. Hey Susan, we're glad you're here with us. Tailbone rises up. Head relaxes down. Roll the head on the neck. Right? And then widen those knees, touch the toes, sit back. Come on down. Arms reach forward. Melting down into your child's pose. And if you can't get your forehead down onto the mat, I invite you to grab a block or blocks so that you really feel a strong connection of the third eye down onto a block, onto the mat. Releasing, relaxing Agya Chakra. And asking the question again, what is my truth? When do I experience bliss? When am I most joyful in life? Planting the seeds of these questions without an expectation that you'll have quick, easy answers. Another breath. And then walking those hands up. Curl the toes, lift the hips, come on up, down dog. Settling one heel down and then the other. Head hangs heavy. Roll the head on the neck. Float the right leg back and up. Stretch it up, reach it up. Roll the foot on the ankle. And then bring that knee in towards the nose, crunching it in. And inhale it back. Crunch it in again. Exhaling. Inhale it back. And then bring the knee in towards the nose and out towards the side. So I've got my right leg, the long outer edge of my right leg is down on the earth. Right hand goes right underneath the face. And this might be enough for you. This is fallen triangle. Or you can roll it down and lift up. Really lifting the hips up. Breathing here into your strength. saying to yourself, making another big circle, I am strong enough to walk my unique path to truth. Bring that knee down, bring the sole of the foot back into down dog. Tailbone rises up. Drop those knees, hands under shoulders. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, arch. Inhale, lift. Remembering, as I've been saying to you all for quite a while now, that yoga needs to be practiced from the inside out. So if you hit a space where there's something where you're like, oh man, I love this, I need to spend more time here, then go ahead and spend more time. Or if I do invite you to do something where you're like, my body doesn't like it, then don't do it. Don't do it. Practice your yoga. Inhaling up. And then exhale, plug those hands in, curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Lifting it up, head hangs heavy. Let's do that same flow on the other side. Floating that left leg back and up, stretch it up, reach it up, and roll the foot on the ankle if that feels good. And then we crunch the knee in, exhaling. Inhale it up. Exhale. Inhale it up. Exhale. And then bring that left leg across on a diagonal. So now it's off to the right side of the mat. And this might be enough for you with your hands underneath your shoulders. Just really pour energy into those arms. Beautiful, strong arms, strong heart. If you want to come into the forward pose, your left hand goes right underneath the shoulders, stacking bone on bone, and then we lift it up, bringing that arm up. Lift the hips, breathing here. One more breath. And roll it down. And come on back. Whew. Right? Tailbone lifts, head hangs heavy. And drop those knees down. Inhale, come on up into your Ankletasana, cow. Exhale, arch, Marjaryasana, cat. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then inhale, bring those arms all the way up, coming into your Stasana on the knees. Reaching the arms up, curl the toes under. And then bring the hands to the back waist, to the hips. Keeping those hip points forward, roll the shoulders together. Chin comes in towards the chest. And just gently drop it back, coming into the opening of Camel Pose. Breathing here into your belly. So from the hip points to the knee, the femurs, the long bones of the legs, are perpendicular to the floor. Inhale, lift. Bring those arms up. Exhale, come on down into your Anahatasana. Puppy dog stretch. Press the hands in. Head comes down. Right? And then inhale again, lift up. Now really, connecting to your camel pose. So with your camel pose, the hands can be on the sacrum, on kind of the lower back. And you can just continue to have your hands here. You can maybe reach back for one heel. And maybe drop the head back if that's okay with the neck. If not, keep the chin down towards the chest. Breathe and keep the hip points forward. If you only did one side, you can inhale up. And if this is really crunchy on the knees, remember you can always grab a blanket, put the blanket underneath the knees, and go back for the other side of camel. And inhale those arms up. And exhale, come on down into your Anahatasana. If you can't get your forehead onto the mat, I invite you to grab a block. Allow the head to rest heavy, pressing into the third eye, rolling the eyes up and in. Breathing into your Cit Ananda. Your experience of bliss, your experience of your individual truth, which can only be discovered by you from the inside out. Another breath. And coming back up onto the knees. Last camel. So if you want to go into full camel, you're welcome. Arms reach up. Bringing the hands down onto the sacrum. Having those toes curled under to give a bit more height to the heels if you want to go into full camel. And again, you can bring the chin into the chest if your neck is feeling a little vulnerable. Or you can lift it up and drop the head back. I think I'm going to keep my chin in towards my chest. Another breath. Breathe into the opening of the heart. And then come on down. Moving slowly. Widen the knees. Touch the toes and sit back and down into your child's pose. Rolling my head on the neck. Going inside, allowing things to settle. Breathing here. And as you explore, as you spiral inward in search of your truth, remember that your truth never springs from shoulds. Letting go of the way things should be or how you should look, the things you should do. Setting those things aside, recognizing that's just noise. Going inside, seeking your true truth. Satya. Another breath. And let's carefully come on to our backs and we'll do our Stasana. So if you have a strap, this is a sweet place to use your strap. Hugging the knees into the chest. And gently rock it out. Massaging the back body. Swing those knees around. Hug that right knee into the chest. Now if you have a tweaky low back, you can totally have the sole of the left foot on the earth, up close to the hips. This helps protect the lumbar spine. If you don't need to do that, you can extend your left leg long. Hug that right knee into the chest. And then extend that right leg overhead. Now, if you have a strap, I invite you to put it around the ball of the right foot. If you don't, you can totally hold on, to the leg behind the hamstring. Okay? Depending on how this pose feels, check in with the neck. I always do weird things with the neck in this pose. Y'all hear me say that all the time. So chin is down towards the chest. Shoulders lift up so the back part is nice and flat. You can lightly hold on to the calf as long as you can keep the legs straight. Okay, we want to keep the legs straight. Drawing that leg in. And if your leg is pretty open and you don't have a strap, you can put your peace fingers around the big toe and breathe into the leg. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Another breath. And then drop that right leg out to the right. If you have a block, it can be really sweet to kickstand the leg on the block. I've got a wall here. So if your leg needs to go up at a pretty steep angle, you can bring the block pretty close in, up towards the hip, and maybe angle it so that your leg is able to relax. Hey, Karma, what are you looking for? What's the problem? Breathing here into the inner groin. Another breath. And again, bring that knee into the chest. And then take your twist, whatever speaks to you, whatever serves you best in this pose. Nice big belly breath, and then you exhale and twist it out. And then float that leg up overhead. Drawing the leg in. Breathing into those hamstrings. Spread your yoga toes. And then extend that leg long. And breathe into the length on the right side of the body. Feeling how the whole right leg, including the glute, is just kind of melty and long. Mini Shavasana here, breathing, relaxing, releasing. Another breath. And then bring the soles of the feet onto the earth and gently kind of roll the tailbone up and down. So you're flattening. Like when you roll the tailbone up, you kind of go from the back waist, the belt line down so that the lumbar spine is nice and flat and supported. Again, if you have a tweaky low back, you can bring the sole of the right foot onto the earth as you hug that left knee in. Breathing here. Another breath. And then bring that left leg up, holding onto the back of the leg. Drawing that leg in. Using the strap around the ball of the foot if you have a strap. Keeping the leg straight. Another breath. And then drop that left leg out to the left. Using your block, to kickstand your leg in a way that suits you, serves you, so you can really just melt down. Another breath. And then lift that leg up. Hug the knee into the chest. Karma's making the rounds. And then take your twist in this direction. So the left knee goes to the right. Nice big belly breath. And exhale. And then gently come back onto the back body. Bring that left leg up. Draw that leg in. And extend that leg down. And allow yourself to just release down, relax down. Feet flop open. Hands can be soft on the low belly. Rolling the head on the neck. And then settle down into your Shavasana. Whatever speaks best to you, what speaks most to you. So that the whole body just melts down. Feeling yourself floating in bliss. So today's poem from Dana. Dana writes, "Awakening, can I withstand the radiance? When the goddess gazes from my eyes, when my heart opens wide, when the current of life sweeps me far from safety, when even the illusion of control is lost, and what's left to me is love, can I breathe a prayer of gratitude and praise? Unlike the winter groundhog, can I raise my face to the sun and not run from the shadow that embodied I will always cast in daylight?" Breathing here. starting to bring movement back to the body in a way that suits you best. Breathing, breathing into your strength. Breathing into your wisdom. Breathing into the knowledge that you can walk this path of truth. As you're ready, rolling over onto the right side, cradling the heart. And carefully press yourself up into an easy seat. Closing the eyes, rolling the eyes up and in, looking into your own radiance, your own beauty, this unique person whom you are, perfect just as you are. Bringing our hands together at the heart space. Let's blossom our hands open into Padma Mudra. Taking a nice big inhale. Saying Cit Ananda. Hands come together at the third eye. Nice big inhale.